Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. And it's another beautiful day for the Pirate Broadcast. And I just want to thank you with all the gratitude in the world for being here and joining us today. And I just want to make sure that you understand that you can listen to this on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and LinkedIn. And I would really, truly appreciate the fact that you like and subscribe and support the channel. This is what makes us continue to grow and expand and bring pirates into the community and enjoy conversations like we're going to have today with Cathi. Cathi's been a health care advocate in mental health industry and going crazy herself at times, and just published and received a new book. And we're going to be talking about some of the trials and challenges that people go through. And until you know and understand what that looks like, sometimes it's an unknown. And so we're going to be talking about that today. So thank you so much for being here. And Cathi, welcome. How are you doing today?
Good. I'm excited. Very excited.
I'm excited for you to be
my
here.
Mom is 81, so tomorrow's her birthday, and I was saying, Mom, well, she saw, because I posted this on my Facebook page. My mom she asked me, like, what are you doing? And so I'm like, well, Mom, it's kind of like a radio show on the internet. It's like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So, well, Mom, if you're watching, hello.
Yes. Sending love and hugs all over. You know, we were talking before the show, and I really love, there are times where I would love to record some of the before and after show, because there's times where it's really meaningful. And I think the one thing that we were talking about was the fact that a lot of entrepreneurs, when you're in a position of being an entrepreneur and having to figure everything out on your own, and all of these things that are compounding, you know, the challenges, the daily, you know, chasing after business or hiring people or getting contractors to do work, and all of these moving pictures, you know, it's like, okay, what's going on in my world? You know, what am I painting today? And it's really, until you've actually had the experience, you really can't fully understand and appreciate what that experience feels like. And I know that you've had that experience. So I kind of want to talk about that as it relates to mental health and some of the things that we have to go through in order to accomplish our goal. And then I want to, you know, fold into your book at some point in time. So congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. It showed up yesterday when I was home for lunch.
Well, we're going to talk about that. So let's talk about mental health and the entrepreneur and how that has made an impact in the last year.
Well, yeah. You know, one of the things about, you know, we go to graduate school and you learn all about mental health. You learn about helping people. You learn about systems. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, so we always do policy. Mm-hmm. I barely made it through my policy classes. I checked out through most of them because they made no sense to me. But they don't teach you about being a business owner. And there's a big difference when you own your own mental health practice. It is a business, and you have got to be business savvy. So that was a pretty big learning curve for me, when I had absolutely no idea what I was doing from the business side of things. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's trial by fire, and you just have to figure things out. And that takes a lot of stress, because, you know, if you're working for an organization that's already established and already, you know, even if you're working in a leadership position, some of the decisions you have to make they have boundaries. They have, you know, parameters that have been established by somebody moving before you, cutting brush, so they say. You know, it's one of those things that you have to understand, that when you're creating the path and you're carving out your own path and what exists in marketing and media and, advertisement and all of these elements. That's a big undertaking. So not everybody can thrive in that environment. So have you noticed any trends in that in your practice?
Well, right now, so I had a small group practice when we were living on the East Coast, and we're now living in Southern Nevada. So I sold that and swore I'd never do it again, ever, never. I was never going to do it again.
Never say never.
Never. Be careful what you say. So here on the West Coast, I do have a practice. Mine is more focused now on teaching other mental health professionals how to do what I've been doing for the last 30 years.
Okay.
And my main focus is children and families. Like since I was a little girl, I always knew I wanted to help people, which I now realize is not the norm. And for me, it was just a matter of figuring out what that actually looked like. And so I always knew that I wanted to work with children and families. And so that's been my focus.
Mm-hmm.
And now what I do is I teach other mental health professionals how to utilize a specific modality using play therapy and expressive arts. Like you can see in the background, you'll see all my figures. These are not my tchotchke collection. These are
those are your tools, right?
I walk in my room and the adults, the kids would be, oh my God, I've died and gone to heaven. The parents would be like, why does she have so many little tchotchkes? What's wrong with her? Those are sand tray therapy figures. And so basically it's, I always tell people the way I explain it, it's like three-dimensional art. Art is objective modality, which I love art. You're an artist too. So you get the whole healing aspects of music.
I have to create something every day,
Yes.
Something has to be created every day.
Yeah. And I look at those modalities as they save my soul. And so that's what I've been doing. I teach people how to do that. And I would say over the, a lot has changed in mental health especially since COVID hit.
Yeah.
A lot of mental health professionals are conducting their sessions by video or by telephone, because I live in Nevada and the only thing populated in Nevada is Las Vegas. And this is a big state. So outside of Las Vegas, there's a whole lot of nothing.
There's a whole lot of desert.
A lot of desert, a lot of brown. I didn't know there were this many versions of brown. So, some areas in the rural areas, they don't even have enough bandwidth to do video therapy. So that's one of the things in the, some of the rural areas is trying to figure out how to get mental health to people. I always look at there's always positives and negatives. So those are kind of the negatives in terms of, do people have access?
Yeah.
If they live in areas where there's not a lot of internet connection, or they may not even have enough money to get enough internet connection to be able to do the video sessions, because while they're doing the video, their kids are also doing video on school. So they've got to share all of that. The positive out of that is more people, I think, are getting access than maybe would have in before, especially in the rural areas. And I think we're beginning to look at teletherapy a different way. Maybe before it was seen as kind of, the little stepchild off to the side that nobody really pays that much attention to.
Yeah.
Really terrible analogy for stepchildren. And but now I think they're looking more and more about how to use it effectively. That, the downside of that is
it's become more mainstream, I think,
yeah,
in terms of being seen as something that is more in alignment with what's going on around us, whether it's business transactions and mental health is no different, because we all need to reach out and touch someone and kind of be that person that you have a resource to tap into. And I think it's really important for people to have an opportunity to get help, get assistance by whatever means or method is available.
Yeah. And, there's so many different things like privacy and HIPAA and how to navigate that on a virtual internet platform as opposed to face-to-face. The therapy sessions look different. Like I've talked some of the mental health professionals that I talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And, you're in their home. They're not in your office. You're in their home. So you get a better idea of their day-to-day life, which gives you, I think, more insights into how to help them. And it's not that person-to-person connection. So I think that's hard for mental health professionals who are trying to figure out how to take care of themselves via video, because it's a much different way of interacting, especially if you're doing play therapy or expressive arts.
Yeah.
Because normally, like my office was always stocked with toys and my tchotchkes in the back, and you can't do that over video. So
that's a little more challenging. I would have to believe that the kids, though, have some sort of attachment that they have in place, or a toy or an activity that they enjoy and appreciate, that can bring out some playfulness in the conversation. You have to kind of go out to discover that, I would imagine. So that's a piece of the equation.
Yeah. And I'm a huge, huge, huge proponent of family involvement. So the family therapy. And so to me, this usually freaks people out when I say, this is what you should do. They're like, you want me to do what? Like, you should do it. It'll be good. I know it will. Is conduct family play therapy sessions. Get the whole family involved.
Yeah. Things may come out, I could probably... I'm thinking I could probably use that with my son. But last time I went to play with my son, I broke my hip. So
I know, I saw that. Yep. And when you broke your hip, I had just had hip replacement.
Oh my gosh.
And I think I was 2 months into the healing, not much more. And I remember thinking, oh man, I feel your pain. You needed your hip that much. That's painful.
I didn't even miss a show. So
I know. I was impressed. I was barely functioning when I got home.
Oh my gosh. I want to say hi to a couple of people that are in the room. Liz Lawless, Creative Catalyst, in the room. Cathi and Russ, thank you so much for being here. Gabriel's in the room. Good morning, fellow pirates. Cathi is now a pirate, everyone. So give her a pirate congratulations. So it's fantastic. I love it. Go, Mom. Happy birthday, she said.
Yeah.
Hi, it says, I have to prep for a 9:30 meeting, but I'll have to catch up on the replay. Good morning, pirates. Hello, Cathi. So Gabriel says, love the vibes this morning. Isn't she? Cathi is bringing the truth here. It's like bringing love to the pirate community. So Liz says, hold it up so we can see the book.
Yes.
And we want to talk about the book, and we want to talk about, yes.
Yeah,
Cathi Spooner. And Nick, who was on yesterday, Good Morning Pirates, he's launched a program yesterday. So
I know, I was watching that one yesterday, Nick. I've been thinking of my things. I could do my game every day.
Yeah, me too, Russ. Creative Pirates rock. I think that was, I love the conversations, guys. Gabriel, thank you so much. Liz, Creative, hello, Liz. Going back and forth. This is what I love about the community, Cathi, and you've been involved in the conversation in the sidebar here. is Good Morning Pirates, Sherry Lolly, Slap Tags, and Michael Baker. Good morning, Pirate fans. Russ and Cathi. Brian's here in the house. Ha! Finally caught the Pirate broadcast live. Welcome to the party, Brian. Appreciate that you're here and joining us today. So Russ, there's Russ. Hey, good morning, Russ and Pirates. Thank you so much for being here. And Kenyatta's here. Hello, Pirate peeps in the house. So then Kenyatta saying hi. Kenyatta saying hi to everybody. It's like, yes. Gabriel, working fast. Brian says working fast. I want to say, Nick Gimmel, good conversation on the Pirate broadcast yesterday. I want to ask the community if have you considered writing a book? Because Cathi just got her book published, and I am a published author. I don't bring it up that often, but I am a published author, an Amazon bestseller. It's one of the promo books. And I think we all have a book in us. And I think one of the challenges is that we don't necessarily know or understand what the process looks like or what it needs to be in order to accomplish. And you went through the traditional publishing process, not the Amazon,
the self-publishing
route. So I know it's an extended period, and I have friends that are authors that they said the book proposal is more painful than the book itself. So walk us through what your experience was and kind of share a few of those things and how it may have been driving you crazy at times because you sold your practice, moved across the country, and everything going on.
So. For me, the biggest struggle was imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome and fear that I put it on paper and everyone would know that I'm a fraud.
Committing to tell what you know, huh?
Yes, you cannot hide when you put it out there. Like it's for all the world to see. So struggling with imposter syndrome was huge. It would shut me down at times. And I had no idea how to write a book. Finally, I found a book coach and a mental health professional. There's like one mental health professional who's a book coach, and I happen to have found her. There might be more, but I only found one. That actually made all the difference for me because then I had another person in the mental health field who would look at it and if it was really terrible, she'd say, Cathi, you shouldn't do this. But she didn't say any of that. In fact, she was really encouraging. And she's like, oh, that was good. That's really good. And I was like, it was?
You're almost shocked at the stuff that comes out here.
And you know what? I think for me, I've been doing this for so long and I'm a nerd. I own that proudly. Like I'm a proud psychotherapy nerd. I love learning about neurobiology and relationships and attachment and trauma and working with children and families. That is my thing. And so you forget. Like in my mind, because I've been doing it so long, everybody knows this.
Yeah.
Who's like,
that's interesting that you would say that because I think everybody that really acquires a level of competency in any kind of practice, you get to the point where you believe that everybody knows exactly what you know.
Yeah. And then they look at you like, I don't know that.
Yeah.
So
how did that help you in the book? In the book itself, how did that come across in the book, where it was kind of balancing the imposter syndrome with the expertise with 30 years experience?
Well, what I ended up doing, and this is how it worked for me. So I've done quite a few trainings. Like I did a lot on the East Coast for other people. And here on the West Coast, I've started my own. That's my business.
Before 2020, you're probably out,
yeah,
at events and activities and, conferences and things like that. Yeah.
Doing some trainings. I've done a lot of supervision. So part of the mental health process, when you're getting in licensed, you have to meet with a supervisor and they have to oversee your clinical work. So I've done a lot of supervising. And so what I did is in my book, I wrote like I was talking to them. And that was the only way I could do it. And I thought, well, my nerdiness is going to come out.
So is this a book more for professionals in the industry than parents?
Pardon?
Is this a book more focused on people in the industry versus parents?
Yeah. This is more for mental health professionals.
Okay.
Because in the book, I talk about trauma and attachment from a neurobiology lens, and then the book is about a model that I came up with to work with children and families using play therapy from an attachments framework. Because I would get frustrated if you do family therapy, it's a specific focus, and I like attachment. But if you do the attachment models, it's only parent to child, and I'm a huge proponent of getting everybody in the room. Like if you're in the family, you need to be in this session as much as possible.
Yeah.
Whenever, as long as that is useful.
Yeah.
And there wasn't anything. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to make my own, because I'm not really good at following other people's things anyway. And I usually end up doing my own thing. And then
which is kind of an entrepreneurial tendency.
Turns out that's
saying.
actually a thing. Yeah. So the book is mostly about teaching other people how to work with the families and heal the whole family that's been traumatized. Because if you have one person in the family who's been traumatized, everybody in the family is going to feel the effects, especially if it's generational. And so being able to change generational patterns and promote resiliency, that's how I look at it. We're promoting resiliency for future generations.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the exciting part.
And it's so important. It's so important. I've had some tragedy, losing my son to suicide and some of the things that surround that, and the pain involved in the rest of the family, and the pain involved in, so many other people that are impacted. It's a tragedy that I don't want to wish on anyone ever. And
grief. Honestly, here's how I feel about grief, or my thoughts. It just cuts through your being and feels like it rips you apart. And then the healing process is figuring out how to live life on the other side abundantly. And what exactly does that mean? Because in the moment, it doesn't feel that way. In the moment, it seems unbearable.
Yeah. And some days I feel like as if I don't even know if I've actually fully processed everything yet,
Yeah, I don't know how you can really, you know what I mean? Like, that goes beyond what we can even fathom, I think. And so I feel that way about a lot of things in life.
Yeah. And I think overall, though, I'm a very positive person for the most part. Some days I have, if you watch my 10 tips for 10 days, day 6, you'll find out it's not always unicorns and rainbows. However, I think that that's part of the equation, though. Even though, I'm positive, and I'm positive offline, I'm positive wherever I go. When I get up, it's like, hey, today's a great day. And I love the opportunity and activity around, talking with people like yourself, because I don't feel alone. I feel like, hey, there's someone out there that has feelings like I feel, and there's ambitions and, catastrophes and bad choices and, things that make you go, ouch, I can relate to that. And at the same time, you have empathy for someone else that's going through that. And because, you know what you have to get through in order to get to the next step. So it's really a process. So,
well, that's one of the things I like watching about your show in the morning, because I think when you're an entrepreneur, it's a lonely place.
Yeah.
And nobody gets that except other entrepreneurs. So I think we need each other to support each other and keep us moving and keep us positive and focused on the next thing. Cause you don't have time. Like, I don't have time. I got stuff I got to get done.
I get, 30 minutes in the morning, it's a good shot in the arm. It's like an injection of little smile therapy.
Yeah.
And you can keep going. Hey, I want to come back to the book here for a minute because Sherry Lawley says, after I create 6 more products, I'll have enough content to document and write that book. It will be a writer, a ghost writer, but I'll be telling the story. So that's another option. Fear keeps so many people from moving forward, from Liz Lawless. And Liz also says, we are always more brilliant than we think. It is so easy for us rethinking everyone else knows what we know. And it's so true. And it's like, okay, I've been teaching this stuff for years. And it's like, oh yeah, it's just so easy. And it's like, not so easy. And if you're not into it, you're not into it. Best way, be yourself. People recognize authenticity. I can't be anyone else. I've lived too long to not be myself. So
I know you get to that point in your life, you're like, you know what? It's too exhausting. Like me or don't like me.
What's the saying? When I was in my 20s, I used to go in a room and hope somebody likes me. And now I'm in a place where I hope I like someone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so wonderful to have you here, Cathi. I just really, I really appreciate the fact that we have this community, and it's not a huge community. However, it means a lot to make a difference in people's lives. I mean, every family that you help and every tragedy. I mean, there's so many challenges that we're living through right now. Are there any quick thoughts that you could leave with us, legacy thoughts that might help someone that's going through a challenging time or might be struggling with their kids that are, maybe I have a friend that has a relative that was cutting and, and that's a sign, that's a symptom of a much deeper challenge. And I'm just thinking to myself, what can we do to observe or pay attention and help others along their journey to get healthy or get back on track, at least for where, from a point of no return?
To me, it's trying to stay connected. People become more depressed and anxious the more they get isolated. The hard part is the more depressed and anxious you get, the more you want to isolate. However, the more you isolate, the more depressed and anxious you'll get. And so figuring out how to stay connected. I'm a big proponent of also getting out and exercising, getting outside, move around. I mean, we're in the fall season. It gets a little harder in the wintertime is typically a higher rate of depression because for people who have seasonal affective disorder, the lack of light, being connected, checking in with people, relationship. People are going to take your support if they know you care about them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So just pay attention to those around you. When I lived in the Northwest, not having the sunshine for weeks at a time is a real thing. And not having something that is out there and, not being able to connect or, and there's a lot of people that are community focused that are really suffering right now from isolation. So if all of us could reach out to one person today and just check in and say, hi, how you doing? I think it would make a difference in somebody's life. And you might make the difference that means something for a longer term process than just today. So
yeah, and I think because people are getting more used to being on video, that's one way to just keep in touch by video.
Yeah.
Because more people are getting comfortable doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Sherry Lawley says, I'm more MacGyver than Poe. I love that. I love that. I'm with you there. Best way, be yourself. People recognize authenticity. And then Paolo says, hello, pirates. So, Cathi, this has been an amazing adventure. And a couple of highlights is that thank you for writing the book. I know that it's going to generate a lot of new ideas for people in the field of mental health and healthcare. And I just really appreciate the fact that you're here sharing the information and making sure that people understand that, we got to get out of the stigma that it's something that has to be, shoved in the back room and closet. And, we got to talk about this thing because it's really important for us to talk about it, understand it, appreciate where people are coming from. And it's not something you can just say, hey, suck it up, buttercup. You really have to understand that there are people in need and need help out there. And so an outreach, paying attention to what's going on around them. And so thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And now you're officially a pirate.
Yay! Arr!
Arr. And everyone, thank you so much for being here today and joining us on the Pirate Broadcast. If you're still listening and watching, I would love your support and appreciate, whether it's on the podcast, the broadcast, YouTube, Twitter, anything where we can be found, please support the channel because this is going out to a lot of people that can use it. It's valuable, and I want to continue to share this and make an impact in the world. So with your help, we can do it. And thank you so much, Cathi, for being here. And as you know, kindness is cool. Smiles are free. So you enjoy the day. Take care. Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate today.